I also, interned in New York at Essence and Time and Sports Illustrated and like all of that umbrella of Time magazine magazines at the time because I wanted that big city experience.
Right.
So if you have the opportunity, I say go for it, go big. Don't think that something is out of your reach.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people if you are interested in an area but you're studying another area, see if there's a way that those things intersect. If you are studying business but you want to be in fashion, like there's so many ways that you can go and intern for Cartier or
Yeah, yeah.
Louis Vuitton and go do something on the business analytics side. Like there are so many ways that all industries intersect and cross over. And I feel like that's the opportunity for you to explore is during those internships before you get into real life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got to pay bills and you got to survive and you can't quit when you want to and you can't, do XYZ. So definitely take advantage of those.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand Lindsay back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, I just put it on Instagram. I'm like, this is like episode 100 plus. You know what I'm saying? I'm like super excited that we've kind of hit over the 100 mark. And it's been a blessing. It's been amazing to talk to so many amazing people. And not only that, we got another amazing top tier guest. Y'all know the guest we have on the show is only top tier, is only right. But let me get into the guest. All right. So we got Jada Samuel, age 26, career / job. She's multi-hyphenate creative communicator, digital strategist, and an on-air personality. We're going to get into that. I had a question about that. We got to get into that. So college degree, she has a BA in journalism plus her master's in marketing. Years in her profession, she has 5 years. So not yet the decade, but she's got 5 years. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's been through a lot of ups, downs, learned a lot, been through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she can always give game and just talk to us about, what it takes to kind of be, in her shoes or along that journey. But Jada, say what's up to the podcast.
Hello, people. I am so stoked to be here. I mean, that was an amazing introduction. Listen, 100 plus episodes, that's consistency. I'm so happy to be here.
Man, that's amazing. Thank you so much. 100 plus. It was rough. Last year was crazy, but we got here and we just gonna keep rocking and rolling. But it wouldn't be Big Boss Talk the podcast if we didn't do our famous 2 truths and a lie. So hopefully I can catch this lie. I've been on like a losing streak, so I'm trying to get out of this slump. And I don't know if you're gonna make it easy for me. So let's see.
We're gonna see. Okay, so the first one is that I was on a billboard for a chicken restaurant.
Okay.
I've gone wine tasting in France.
Okay.
And I have a black belt in Taekwondo.
Okay. Listen, I know you do pageantry, and we're gonna get into that too. So having a secret weapon like being a black belt in Taekwondo is something that I feel like you present, as one of your top qualities, being in pageants and things like that. So I think that's true. Wine tasting in France. I saw, I like to do research. So I saw you travel, you be in the Yams, Miami, I don't know, wine tasting in France. And then you said you was on a billboard for a
chicken restaurant.
I think I'm gonna go with the middle, right? I'm gonna say the wine tasting in France is a lie. I think you.
And you are right. You have broken your losing streak.
Let's go. That's good. So okay, talk to me. I was trying to hold it in. What restaurant were you on a billboard for?
So it's actually a local restaurant in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
I have never eaten at the restaurant personally. I ate there for the commercial and for the billboard shoot, and that was it. But apparently, they have like some of the best fried chicken, and I'm actually blanking on the name. But I'm gonna find the name of the chicken restaurant, and I'm gonna tell you the name of it
Yeah,
because
it's not
you
lizard.
know
Is it not? It's not lizard thicket, is it?
it's not lizard's thicket.
Lizard.
It,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
it's blue and white. So I'm gonna look it up. Let me
Okay.
see.
Yeah, you gotta let me know. So I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina. So, but
Okay.
obviously I've been in Columbia a lot. My wife graduated from USC, so I was in USC. So that's why I was naming like Lizard Thicket, I think, because I've been there a couple of times. Good food. But yeah, we got to get that name.
It's famous in Colombia. I'm not even sure the name. It looks vintage to me. Like
Okay.
the restaurant itself is vintage. We shot in an old car. I'm like hanging out of
Was it
like this
awkward?
stick.
Was it cool? Fun?
It was cool, like a chicken restaurant. It was during the middle of like 2019. So, the sun was out. We were cool and everybody could be outside.
Chilling.
You know what it's called? You know what it's called?
What?
Zestos.
Oh wow, Zestos. Okay, got it, got it. I felt like I've heard of Zestos before, most definitely. Well, shout out to you, man. I mean, you made it on the billboard, so that's dope in itself. And then obviously, okay, so you threw out wine tasting in France. I feel like that's a goal of yours. Like, is that something that you want to
Yeah.
do?
Absolutely.
What?
Definitely something I want to do. I was like, it's got to sound realistic. It's got to sound like me.
Yeah.
And I felt like that sounded like me. So I'm speaking that into existence. We're going to
Okay.
use that as a moment to
For
manifest.
sure, for sure. Gotta speak it to existence. I've been trying to well, I haven't been trying to. I wanted to do LA. What's the wine tasting in what's the famous everybody likes to go there.
Sonoma,
I'm
you
blanking
want
the
to go to
name. It's in like on the West Coast.
Sonoma Valley?
Yeah, Napa. Yeah, Napa.
Napa,
Yep,
Sonoma
Napa.
Valley. Yep. Yep.
So I the lady, my old lady, my wife, she wants to go there. So I'm trying to figure it out. I know nothing about
Y'all got to
wine.
make it.
I don't
Y'all
know.
got to make it.
Yeah, we got to make it. I don't know nothing about wine, but we're gonna figure it out. And then the last one, you said you have a black belt in Taekwondo. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
How long did it
So
take you to get a black belt?
So my entire childhood, I took Taekwondo in the way that some people like are cheerleaders or play football or basketball. I took Taekwondo. My family was a martial arts family. It's something my dad participated in, my brother, my cousins. Like it was an entire family affair. So I participated from, early elementary school on into high school.
Yo,
So
that's crazy. Have you ever had to you probably haven't hopefully you haven't had to use anything, but
I have not.
okay, got you. Do you still participate right now?
I don't right now, but it's definitely something that I want to get back into because I would love for my future like family to
Yeah.
have the same bonding experience that I had for sure.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I never met anybody that had like a full like on black belt. Like I've known people that practice in the arts of taekwondo and karate, things of that nature, but like to have a full black belt, like I know that had to been hard. Like
It was some years of dedication for sure.
yeah, that's dedication. Okay, well, cool. Well, I appreciate you playing two truths and a lie with us. I got a few questions that I want to start off with, right? Just to
Okay,
let
let's
people
do it.
get to know you. All right. So, what's a secret hobby people don't know about you? And I hope it wasn't taekwondo, but
No, I feel like I have several that I don't showcase maybe anymore. I feel like the people who know me would
mm-hmm.
know. I love to crochet. My grandmother used to crochet. And so when she passed, I got all of her crochet needles and yarn, and that was right before the pandemic. So
Crazy.
it was perfect during the pandemic. You sitting there watching
Yeah.
TV, and I'm over here making blankets and hats, and I'm like living my old lady best life. So I would say that's my secret, like hobby.
Listen, the crochet community is huge.
It is.
Like I saw something Oprah had like the crochet ladies on the show one time, and like they serious about their crochet. My grandmother crochets. There's something about having a grandmother that crochets, man. I mean,
Listen,
can
and
make
I'm
you
gonna be a
anything.
crocheting grandma one day.
Yeah, and can make anything. Like you need a little toboggan. Put little Junior with a little toboggan. Grandma made that. You need a scarf. Grandma made that. It's
Exactly.
yeah, man. It's a lost art. We gotta keep you. We gotta protect you at all costs because we need that skill passed on for generations
All
to
of the
come.
arts, all of the hand activity, anything
Yep.
that gets us engaged, we got to keep those woodwork, all the things,
Everything, man.
painting. We need all that.
Everything. So, favorite place to travel and why?
Oh goodness, easily New York City. New York City is my favorite city in the United States of America. My
What?
absolute favorite place to be is Brooklyn, New York. Um, I mean, the city is electrifying. It's you
Yeah.
have to either love it
Okay.
or you really don't like it.
Okay.
And I absolutely love it. When I come there, there is an energy that I have that I you cannot deny. It's just there. It's in the air. It makes you want to create. It makes you want to express
Go.
yourself. It makes you want to get up and go. You want to go eat new things. And you want to do all the things. So
Yeah.
I love New York City
That's
for sure.
dope, man. I like. I'm glad. It's funny that you said that you either love it or you hate it. I've never been personally, but people that I know that go, they didn't like it as much because of, I think it depends on what the type of person you are. You know what I mean? Like New
Absolutely.
York, like if you like people, like you out there, you like the go, the hustle, the bustle. Like I think New York is probably prime time. I would enjoy it. I want to go. My biggest fear is getting on a subway and getting lost. Now that's the only thing.
I've
I
done that.
Oh nah, I can't do
It makes
that.
for the best stories and the best adventures. So I say go get lost on purpose. Go do some exploring. You can't mess up if you're on the train. You got
See,
to get back on. Try
see,
again. Ride somewhere else.
you a daredevil. I can't do it. I can't. I gotta have a map. Okay, we all right. Bet we know where we at. Um,
Right.
last question. For the beginning part is what is the best advice someone has ever given you?
Wow. I've received so much good advice. I have so many amazing mentors and so many amazing people that have poured into me over the years. Um, I would say that the best advice probably I don't know if it came from a specific person, like I can't pinpoint where
Yeah,
I got this.
yeah,
But I always say that I was drawn to things that talked about whatever we do in life, making sure that it's bigger than ourselves. Like
mm,
whatever you do, make sure it's bigger than you is one of my favorite quotes. Um, and so I don't really know where the advice came from, but I feel like it leads into so many other things. Whatever you do, make sure that it's bigger than you. That could be the work that you do on a daily basis. That could
yeah,
be how you interact with people, the legacy that you choose to leave behind. That could be so many different things, but
yeah,
making sure that it's more than just about you.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're 1 in 7 billion.
Yeah.
So what can we do to impact somebody else? So that's my favorite piece of advice, and that's something that I try to reiterate and tell all of the other young people that I interact with. Whatever you do, make sure it's bigger than you.
Man, I think that's some of the best advice that anyone can give someone is do something that is bigger than yourself. Because as you get older, right? Obviously, when we going through college, we're super selfish. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get this degree. I'm gonna get this job. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be living like this. I'm gonna be doing this. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times it doesn't work out that way. It doesn't work out as perfect as we thought it was going to work out. And then when you know what I'm saying? And then when you get into your career path or you get into a career and you're not fulfilled, I think when you're not fulfilled, I think it's because you're not doing something for a purpose that is bigger than yourself. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And I think when you said that, I'm like, I can easily say like some of the jobs that I've taken in the past, heck, maybe even the job right now, like I'm not fulfilled because it doesn't supply me with how am I helping the world? Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying you got to help the world, but just even just the ecosystem of people around me. Like, how do I help those people so we can all like move and grow at the same time and just find that real purpose? You know what I'm saying? Have you had trouble in finding like your purpose or like what was that? What was that journey for you? Like, finding your career and your way in the world.
Yeah, well, I think just before we move on from this, I think that oftentimes people think that the fulfillment has to come from the career. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes I've found that my fulfillment has come from the extracurricular things that I've continued to do, the platforms that you create for yourself, the way that you volunteer, the way that you interact with, your sororities or fraternities or organizations that help the community. Like there are so many other ways to be fulfilled
Yeah.
um, outside of your career. Um, for me, I feel that my purpose and my skill set has not really aligned just yet in my career. And I
Right.
think that's okay to talk about. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh, yeah, I have all these skills. And so that's what my purpose is. And for me, that's not the case. I am skilled in media, I'm
Mm-hmm.
skilled in being on air and writing a script and producing content.
Right.
That is a skill. That's something that I was trained to do, but that is not what I am passionate about, and that's not what I feel that I am called to do. That's not my purpose.
Right.
My purpose is centered around women and girls, and I know that for a fact because everything that I end up doing in life ends up coming back full circle to like women and girls in
Right.
some way and empowering those women and girls around me, giving them access to opportunities and resources and being a platform or to uplift their voices and make sure that their stories are told and heard. So oftentimes I feel like that's kind of like where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
Like I know that that is my purpose because of so many experiences that I've had. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is how we oftentimes find our purpose.
Right.
It's not necessarily something that just comes to you out of the blue. It's a bunch
Right.
of experiences compiled together that lead you in that direction. So that's what it's been for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of wisdom because you just, I mean, experiences combined together where you don't know what you don't know, and I think
Mhm.
experiences provide you that information to say, I like that, but I don't think that's right. And you
Mhm.
learn, you may take a skill from that, and then you may apply it somewhere else. It's like, oh, I really like this, but it's maybe something that's not long term. And I'm just, for me, I see a lot of kids, we talk about mental health, we talk about depression, like that's a huge thing right now. Suicide is very high right now, and I think it's just for some. Obviously, one, I think social media can have people speed their lives up or think they should be in a place that realistically, if you look at the actual person that's probably made it, they've been doing that specific thing for 10, 12 plus years. You know what I'm saying? It may
Yeah.
seem like it's overnight of how the content is being pushed,
Mhm.
or what has been said, but I think I don't know how to explain it, but the comparison is just the thief of joy. Like I just,
Absolutely.
I just,
1000%.
and it's like even being an adult, like as I, make money, I understand taxes now. I understand. And I'm like, the people that I looked up to in the past when they were like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, there's no way you're doing this like the right way. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you're doing it the right because I'm here and I'm like, it's not adding up. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not
Mhm.
adding up. So I'm glad you hit on that. I think it's super important that time is your best friend. The time is something you can't get back, but experiences, and time, over time builds up, and you can kind of find your joy, your passion, and I think that's what's kind of helped me, like personally,
Mhm.
right? Is I've been able to just run my own race. I haven't, kind of really been looking. I catch myself comparing, right? But then I have to dial it back in and be like, man, just think about
Right.
how far you done came, like where you been. I'm pretty sure you have
Mhm.
similar experiences. Like, man, I remember when I used to want to do this, but now I'm doing it. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. When you were speaking, I thought about a quote that I don't even know what. I just love quotes, but it says, "It takes 10 years to become an overnight success."
Mm,
And I think about that often. How many times we feel like, oh, something is not working as fast as we wanted to. I'm not getting the followers. I'm not getting the views. I'm not getting XYZ sales. I'm
Yep.
not getting this. So I'm going to give up on it now. And I think those are the experiences that lead us to our purpose. If we can continue pushing through those moments of adversity and continue on, regardless of what numbers look like. If you feel called to do it, continue doing it. And eventually it's going to work out. Like the people that are supposed to see your content are going to see your content.
Yep.
The people that are supposed to, buy your products are going to buy your products.
Yep.
All of those things. And they may not be your friends and family.
Right.
That's what I want a lot of people to embrace is like, sometimes it's not the people around you. Those people aren't in your target audience.
Right.
So, embracing all of those experiences and learning and growing from that and not feeling like, okay, I'm not getting the support. Well, maybe the support is not supposed to be from the people that you think that are supposed to be in your corner. So that's my little 2 cents on that.
Come on, Jada. Jada dropping game tonight, man. We coming in heavy, man. The gems is crazy. So we're gonna move forward a little bit. Well, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. What did Jada want to be growing up? Like your younger self, what did you say? Like, I want to be this, I want to be that, and what was that?
For me, it was for a long time. It was I wanted to be a fashion designer. My grandmother was a seamstress. I mentioned earlier that she crocheted.
Yeah.
My other grandmother is just extremely fashionable. So I was always around women who had style, and so I wanted to be a fashion designer. I sewed when I was younger. At some point in high school, you find out how much people make doing certain jobs. And so I thought I wanted to get into medicine or something along those lines. And then when I was about to graduate from high school, I realized that I really enjoyed journalism. I enjoyed writing. I enjoyed speaking in front of people. And so I got an internship at a magazine that is published nationally, but it's based here in South Carolina, Sheen Magazine.
Let's go.
And I got to do some fashion, some editorials, some, celebrity type interview stuff during that time. And so I was like, oh, this is like going to allow me to do fashion related things and lifestyle content and be around celebs and do all the cool stuff. So that's what I want to do. So I would say that it changed a lot over the years, like most people. But I definitely wanted to be a lifestyle journalist, which is what I ended up doing when I graduated from college.
That's dope. Listen, I only asked because to show that it's okay to change your mind. I think it's hard. I think it's messed up that we ask 16, 17-year-olds to kind of figure out what they want to do. And then when you get into it, it's like, dang, I got to do this for 40 years, 50 years. Woo. That's a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's cool. I always want to get people's dreams, before they started to become themselves and understand what they like and what they didn't like. And now that we know that, you work, as an intern, can you tell us the importance of an internship and that experience that you gained while you were at that establishment? Because I think internship is a lost art these days. Everybody wants to be paid. I mean, it might have been a paid internship, but what I'm saying is internships, it just doesn't seem like they're as popular as they used to be.
Yeah, I feel like experience in any form is just invaluable. I had that opportunity where I was interning for free. I was not getting paid. And I understand that like there are certain people in certain circumstances where if you're giving your time to something and you have a situation where financially you absolutely have to be making money, then of course, like take the paid opportunity or make sure that you are getting paid. But if you do have the flexibility to take on opportunities and just make something work out of an unpaid experience, heck, go for that too, because I learned so much about what I did and did not want to do from that experience. I interned not only at Sheen Magazine, I interned at 3 different news stations in Columbia, like every single one, every single local news station in Columbia. I also, interned in New York at Essence and Time and Sports Illustrated and like all of those, that umbrella of Time magazine, magazines at the time, because I wanted that big city experience.
Right.
So if you have the opportunity, I say go for it, go big. Don't think that something is out of your reach.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, if you are interested in an area but you're studying another area, see if there's a way that those things intersect. If you are studying business but you want to be in fashion, like, there's so many ways that you can go and intern for Cartier or,
Yeah, yeah.
Louis Vuitton, and go do something on the business analytics side. Like, there are so many ways that all industries intersect and cross over. And I feel like that's the opportunity for you to explore, is during those internships before you get into real life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got to pay bills, and you got to survive, and you can't quit when you want to, and you can't, do XYZ. So definitely take advantage of those.
Man, listen, man. The worst thing about being an adult is paying bills, man. They hyped it up so good. It's like, it make it look good. I always wanted to be an adult. I'm like, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be doing my thing. And then I came to just start doing my thing, and it wasn't the same thing. And I'm like, this is y'all
Start doing
lied.
your thing, and you realize doing your thing is expensive.
Exactly. Y'all lied to me. Y'all didn't say it came with this type of paycheck. All right. So I need some reparations on that. You know what I mean? I'm old, but I'm
Exactly.
old. But now,
Exactly.
but now I think it's cool that you talked about your time at the internships and what you can do with those internships. And you made a valid point where a lot of times we don't know, like, if you wanted to, obviously you want to do fashion, but then you also like business. There are things that intersect in certain companies where you can do the business and fashion side. We just don't know that. Like, a lot of jobs internally, the outside people don't know about. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
inside, once you're inside, there's a lot of opportunities that you know are given to people that are internal. But I do
Mm-hmm.
want to ask, like, what is your, like, how did you get these internships? Because I know there's people that want to, now that you said it, they're like, okay, I need an internship, and they're gonna try to go out here and try to look for an internship. But how did you come across your internships? Were they kind of like recommended? Did you go searching for them? Like, how did you get into that?
1000% searching for the
Okay.
opportunities. I am a big, like, type A person about, like, I'm gonna make a spreadsheet for everything. And so one thing that I tell my mentees is, like, freshman year, start making a spreadsheet wherever your college is. Like, I was in Columbia, South Carolina, so I had one tab of on the spreadsheet that was like Columbia, South Carolina
Mm-hmm.
internships, and I made a list of, like, places that I would want to intern, like, in Columbia, that had internship programs, that I could find a contact, put an email in a different column, put the link to the internship. Like, keep up with all of those things,
Right.
because even if it's not your season this season, like, next summer might be the summer, or next spring might be the time for you to intern with that company or that brand or whatever. I also knew that I wanted to be in a certain city, which was New York,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for at least one summer during college. So one of the things that I did was I created another tab on that same document, and I still have it to this day. Like, it's just still sitting
It's
in
just
my
building.
Google Drive. But I put a list of, like, all of the companies that were hiring big internships. I would go on LinkedIn and search internships,
Mm.
especially the summer before I was eligible. So a lot of internships only want sophomores, juniors, seniors. So your freshman year, that's when you start making the list. Your sophomore year, if they only want juniors and seniors, start making a list and start
Right.
making those connections, because there are so many cool things that I wish that I would have known about, that I
I'm
didn't even
telling
know
you.
that I could apply for, until I was, like, done with undergrad.
I'm,
And I'm like, sheesh, I was applying to some cool stuff, but man, I missed out on all of these opportunities, all of these paid experiences. So don't sleep on, like, a spreadsheet, and just keeping a list, because once one pops up, they'll keep coming up in your feed on LinkedIn and all these other places. So definitely cool stuff, cool
Word.
companies.
That's dope. That's super dope. I appreciate that. That game that you just gave. And so, as far as, like, your day to day, I want you to take us through, like, what does a day to day for Jada look like? What are some of your top priorities that you have to do? What are some of the things that you don't like? Because everything is not a sunshines and rainbows, no matter what you do. So it's just like,
Absolutely.
what does your day to day look like? What are some of the things you love about, some things that you love during your day, and then some things that you wish like, I could do without.
Yeah, so for me, I don't like this is not an understatement when I say every day looks different. Like people love to say every day looks different and then they wake up and like sit at the computer at the same time and like start doing the same thing. That is not it's never been true for me in any phase of my 5-year career. Like it's never been true for me.
Oh
In
wow.
journalism, you wake up in the morning, you go to the station, or maybe you wake up in the middle of the night because you're there
Yeah.
for the morning. And that day looks different because every day you're telling a different story. In political communications, there could be an event in one city.
Yeah.
You could be, speaking for your candidate in another city. I could be shooting video content, creating content, sitting at the computer one day. So honestly, every day looks different. But for me, one of the coolest things about my career so far has been just the opportunity to continue pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
When I am not enjoying something, not feeling fulfilled, I know that like this is the time in my life. Like
Yeah.
I don't have any children. I don't, have a partner that is depending on me
Yep.
for, a stable home and income.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time to make those changes if I don't enjoy something that I'm doing. And that's one of the things that I am most grateful for. And I feel like every pivot comes with a step up.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. And I've been really fortunate to say that like every opportunity that I've taken, every time I've had to pivot, God was setting me up for something even better. And so I feel like I'm in one of those seasons now where I'm like, okay, what's my better? What's my
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, every day looks different.
Okay, I like it. So every day is a little different. You know, obviously you're getting up in the middle of the night sometimes. What makes you good at what you do? Like I know you said you're a type A person, lists are your thing. But for someone that's in your role or wants to do what you do, how do they what things or characteristics must they have to be successful?
Yeah, I would say if you learn how to talk to people, learn how to communicate with people, not in a way that's just like, oh, I know how to be someone's friend, but learn how to ask for what you need support in, learn
Mm-hmm.
how to say, this is not working for me, learn how to, you know, be assertive about the stories that you want to tell, the angles that you want to take when it comes to telling someone's story. In the world of politics, making sure that you
Yeah,
align with what the candidate is um,
telling.
talking about. That's something that's really huge for me, making sure that my value system aligns with what I'm doing. So I would say just making sure that you are a communicator. Like you can't be in the
Yeah.
world of communications, of public relations, of marketing, of digital strategy. You can't do anything like that if you don't know how to communicate. And that's not only talking, that's writing as well. Like learn
Yeah.
how to write a professional email, learn how to make a statement.
Don't be putting
Just
LOLs in the
learning how to
email
talk.
now.
Yeah, you got to be professional at all times. So be relatable, but be professional for sure. So that's something that I feel like everybody in the world of journalism, communications, PR,
Yeah.
marketing, strategy, all of that, you have to be
Everything.
able to communicate.
Listen, man, that's a good skill for anybody. You know what I mean? Like even obviously it's more profound in the communication field, but just being a good communicator in general,
Mm-hmm,
it's always awesome to see. Like when you can talk to somebody like we on the same page, we understand each other, this is what you need, this is what you don't need. Like
mm-hmm,
everything just moves a lot smoother.
exactly.
When you know what everyone needs and what's going on. But I appreciate that. So I know it's hard to believe we've been talking about 40 minutes, right? Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. It's been a good conversation. So the last couple of minutes, I do want to talk to you about. You mentioned your podcast. Obviously, as I'm a pod, I like podcasts. I started in 2019. I did probably about 8 episodes in 2019, and that was it. 2020, I did 10. That was it. And then I was like, I was like 20, what was it? 20, the beginning of 2022. I was like, man, I love the podcast, but I had to change my approach and what I wanted to talk about, right? Because in the
Mhm.
beginning, I was talking about single parent trauma or what it's like growing up in a single parent household as a male, the things that
Mhm.
you have to deal with as far as like navigating through life, with certain, having certain friends and what being real is like, that's a whole
Mhm.
facade. Being real is a facade, believe it or not, because a lot of times people are doing things for the appearance of others, and that's not even who they
Absolutely.
really are. You know what I mean? And so that was kind of my journey in the first like 2019, 2020. But I found myself like the content I had to live. You got to live to be able to talk about that type of stuff. And I just obviously I'm not I'm living, but it's just it takes time to do that. So I was
Yeah.
like, what am I more passionate about? I was like, man, I really love helping kids. Like that's to help them not feel how I felt. Like where I had to
Yeah.
feel like, you got to be somebody else, or you always got to be tough or on guard. Like it's cool, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like this thing where people are saying now, like, oh, you get a if your guy gets a what is it? What's the lemonade and the tea mixed, and they like, oh, he's soft. I'm like, come on,
Oh
like,
gosh.
come on now.
Everybody can enjoy an Arnold Palmer. Come on.
Exactly. You can't have an Arnold Palmer or a little Starbucks. You know what I mean? So all that good stuff. So, but I was just like, I'm trying to make it cool for kids to be themselves, man. Like, you know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like, and you end up coming out better in the end, because
For sure.
the people that you try to follow or be a part of, things happen, get into
Hmm.
trouble. They not, they once you start getting into trouble, then you can't do certain things. You can't live a certain way. And then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, dang, like I'm being myself and I see more opportunities, and it doesn't make you better. It's just if you would have originally just stayed with being yourself and understood that being cool, having your own little niche is cool, man, and people are gonna attract to you for you just being you. You know what I mean? So that now that's the mission I'm on now, like helping kids, get into certain careers and just allow them to be themselves.
Actually.
But yeah, talk to me about your podcast. Like, I want to. How did you get into it? What was the mindset? Like,
Absolutely. So I competed for the title of Miss South Carolina for 4 years. I started competing prior to that. I competed in the South Carolina Teen USA system twice, and I competed for Miss Black Teen US Ambassador as a teenager. So pageants have been a part of my life for almost 10 years now. Actually, I think 2013, yeah,
wow,
2023. It's been 10 years now, and they've provided me some amazing opportunities. It's completely paid for my MBA.
that's
1000% paid for through scholarships through the Miss South Carolina organization. So, one of the things that I felt like after the passing of Chesley Christ, who was not only a friend of mine, but someone that I looked up to, that a lot of people from the University of South Carolina looked up to, and Black women in general. Um, her passing kind of pushed me to this space where I had this idea
mm-hmm.
and I wanted to create a community for women of color specifically who were in the pageant space to talk about all of the things that may be a little taboo to someone else, or to talk about our experiences and share those experiences. Um, and then I was like, this could be so much bigger than just me talking to women who look like me. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, I want to uplift women who look like me and provide a space and a platform for them. But I also want to create community with all women who are entering this like space where they just want to win in life.
right.
Not only in pageantry, like they want to win in life. So I created Position to Win, and it's a community for women who are on a journey to put themselves in position to win, not only in pageantry, but in life. And one of the things that I did was I started the podcast. We are featuring women who've held state, local, national, and international titles from all different
Let's
systems.
go.
And we're really just providing a space for people to share. what it means for them to win, not only in pageantry but in life, and how the two kind of intersect, and how their stories can uplift and empower other women. It's also a blog, so I just put out the first blog post
Okay.
this week. It's also a Facebook community, and eventually, I hope that it grows into something larger where there can be gatherings of women to talk about putting themselves in position to win. Because I feel like there are so many women who need that space to kind of have their community of people who are rooting for them, and want to hear their big ideas, and nobody's shutting anybody else down, and it's kind
Yeah.
of like your story matters. So that's what I want position to win to be. And so I am a few episodes in now. We're about a month in. And I'm excited to continue growing the platform for sure.
Man, let's go. Look at you doing what you said, your best advice ever given. Be a part of something that is bigger than yourself. And so obviously building this community is going to be way bigger than you think it's going to be. It's going to be way bigger than any idea that you had in your head. It's going to be 10 times that. So like, because it comes from a genuine place. Like I love seeing people do stuff that they're genuinely passionate about, right?
Me
So
too.
obviously, you're in the role. You've been in pageantry. You understand some of those taboo topics or things that a lot of people that don't do pageants know that you guys deal with, and you guys can speak the language, have the conversation. But it's also good to see other women empowering other women.
Absolutely.
I think right now it's been the past I would say I want to say 5 years. It's like it's been this snowball effect of just seeing women going after things, achieving things, doing what I'm saying. I just saw the other day that I don't know if you follow football at all, but Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Philadelphia
Yeah,
Eagles, his agent is a black female, and
I
obviously
love that.
and she's going to be the first black female to advocate for the for a Super Bowl NFL quarterback this summer. And so like her getting his deal done this summer
Yeah,
is going to be a huge thing for black women as agents, or just women as agents and period. So like,
and I love
you know
it.
what I'm
I
saying?
love.
So like, that's gonna be pretty big when she locks down this contract for a black NFL quarterback with a black female agent. So it's gonna be
I
huge.
I love it. I love it, and I love that. We can root for each other, but there are also, men who are rooting for, women of color and women in
Mm-hmm.
general too. And it's been a really cool wave to see like what has happened since that like women's march time
Yeah.
period, the Me Too movement. It's just been really cool to see this like third wave of like feminism happening.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I'm also excited that, there's also been this like resurgence of like being proud to be black
Mm-hmm.
and supporting black businesses and things like that. So it's all been really cool, and I'm just really happy to have, a tiny piece of the pie and say that I'm doing my work and
That's it.
and continuing on to empower others. So yeah.
That's it. That's it. But like I said, I think what you got going on, position to win, whatever idea you got in your mind, just be ready because it's about the 10x. As long as you continue to, do what do what you called to do the work, and put it in. Like, I'm like your space is positioned to win. Like I hope this space is, I want the dreamers to feel safe because it's hard when you have a dream and you getting older and you tell your dream to the wrong person and they don't see it how you see it and you get discouraged. So like I'm here to protect the dreamers because that's all I've been doing all my life is just holding on to my little dream. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens. So
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But can you at least give me a little bit about pageants? How does someone get in the line, the work of, how does someone get into pageants? Also, what does that look like to be like a Miss South Carolina or a Miss USA? Like, how does that look? What all do you have to do?
Yeah, so there are several different systems. Most people know Miss America and Miss USA.
Yeah.
Um, Miss USA does swimsuit, and you have interviews and
Okay.
evening gowns and all of the things that people see on TV. Miss America has those, same things minus swimsuit. They have fitness instead. But what a lot of people don't understand about pageantry, who have not been in contact with people who've competed, is that the service and scholarship aspects are far more important than the hour that you see on TV. The scholarships, like I said, have paid for my MBA. They've provided me opportunities that I didn't think were possible, to be completely honest. And I am even more excited to be a part of pageantry because I understand the service aspect that goes into it.
Got
For
it.
me, I started a nonprofit mentoring organization when I was 18 years old called I Shape Me.
Okay.
Empowering Girls to Lead has been my platform for the past 4 years, competing for Miss South Carolina. And so I've done the work way before I started competing for the title.
Yeah.
But just having that opportunity to go into a room as Miss Greer, South Carolina, as Miss Columbia, South
Yeah.
Carolina, sometimes that gives people the opportunity to, or the will to want to connect with you and want to do work with you. And so I think pageantry just gives women a lot of times that edge, that boost, that platform to get out and fulfill their missions
Right.
and do the work that they are called to do. So I've been blessed to be a part of that. And I don't know if my journey is over in pageantry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But one thing that I do know is that it's surely made me more aware of who I am and the ways that I would like to give back. And I think that's something that a lot of young people don't have the opportunity to do unless you're forced to think about it. And that's what pageantry does for a lot of young women. So it's a really cool opportunity. Anybody can do it. I always say there's a system for everybody. So
Yeah.
if anybody is listening to this and they're like, I want to do a pageant, and you don't know where to start,
Yeah.
you can find me tagged, I'm sure, in this podcast
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
below somewhere. But Position to Win, just DM me. Send me a message. I would love to help
That's
more
huge.
people get involved, especially women of color. So definitely reach out to me.
That's huge. Well, appreciate it. I wish I had another 45 minutes with you just to go over the pageantry part. That obviously that lets you know, like, you got to come back.
I will.
We'll do another segment. I don't know the time frame. Just whatever you got going on. Because we come to the end of the conversation, and I just let people know, like, this is not something that's transactional for me. Once you own the podcast, it's family, and I support any and everybody that's been on the podcast. Whatever you got going on, I'm sharing it on the story. I'm trying to comment. We trying to spam something. We trying to.
Yes,
You know
let's
what I mean?
do it.
We trying to get you out of there. So whatever we can do to kind of help play our part, because we've already had a conversation. We've already kind of bridged the gap, and so it's not. It doesn't feel awkward or anything. And I just think if we had more people to share things and just promote things without having anything attached to it, I think we always see a little bit of growth. You know what I'm saying? On everybody's
Absolutely.
platform. So I want to say thank you. I hope you had fun. Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good. So how it works is we got to get a recommendation before you go. That's how we keep the podcast moving. So if you have anybody, like 1 or 2 people that comes to your mind, I would love to hear it. If you don't have anybody, that's cool. Just make sure you send me their Instagram profile and let them know, like, hey, I was on with Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Dope conversation. He might reach out to you and see if you can be a part.
Okay, you want the names now, or
Yeah,
you want the names?
if you got them, I want the names now. But you still got to send me their information on Instagram.
Okay, well, we're going to put some people on the spot. So I'm going to say Valente Gibson.
Okay.
He was nominated for South Carolina Teacher of the Year. He won his District Teacher of the Year. Amazing Black male educator in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
So I'm putting him on the map. And then I am putting Sean Beach on the map. He is an author out of Columbia, South Carolina, doing some great things for kids, writing some comic books and getting kids interested in reading again. So I am calling him out. And actually, I think that his wife should be on as well.
Okay.
I have never met her, but I've seen some of her work as well. So go ahead and get both of the beaches on,
Okay.
and definitely get Valente Gibson. So I can send you a bunch of people, but those
Yeah,
are
I
those are the
love
people
it.
that come to the top of mind for sure.
Yeah, I love it. Please just send me their Instagram. I'm gonna touch base with them, but just let them know that you gonna send me their information, and then I'm gonna reach out. That way they can kind of be on the lookout for me. But
Will do.
man, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful night. Keep going with everything that you got going on, all right? Because it's gonna work
Thank
out. It's
you.
gonna work out in the end. I know it.
I appreciate
All
you.
right, thank you. Y'all have a good one.
You too.